It might surprise some of the younger players who listen to this that there was actually magic in games before Dungeons and Dragons came along. This is how we used magic in 1972 to, well, probably to the 80s, I would say. I apologise for my voice. I've got a cold. I've got all sexy. I've got all gruff. So here, you've got 2 blocks of goblins coming towards one unit of dwarfs. There's 12 in a unit, and in the middle is a miniature figurines wizard, and he can do a number of things. Number one, he can try and frighten the enemy. So I throw a d6, and 5 of the goblins that I choose are frightened, which means they run a full move 6 inches away from the wizard. That's one option. Number 2 option is just stop one of the units in its tracks. Now, there are no wizards opposing him. If the other side had a wizard, both would throw. The higher would have their way. So if my wizard won, I could stop them in their tracks. Only one unit, and I only get to use the spell once in the entire game. So once it's done, it's done. The third thing you can do is you can heal. So there are goblin archers there, and they've shot perhaps those 3 dwarfs. Now his healing spell, he can simply throw that, and he cures 3, so he instantly negates those wounds. The next thing he can do is probably the one that most people think of using early, but to be honest, if you're wise, you wait, is kill. So, boom, I've just blown up 2 goblins. I can't do that again. That's it for this game. And the final one that we ended up using a lot is breaking units aside. So this is a good one. Oh, that is a good one. Because what I do now, I find a place, and I'm going to say here. So I'm going to put that half away at 3, and they have to be pushed to there, and they have to be pushed to there, allowing a space for the dwarfs to drive through. The other thing wizards can do, they can challenge other wizards. They were the house rules that we came up with for miniature figurines in 1972. Now, when we get to using Dungeons and Dragons properly with the manual, I always felt it got complicated. You've got druid spells, and you've got clerical spells, and you've got magical spells. Then you have to decide with the Dungeon Master, depending on your level, what spells you are going to memorise. And the Dungeon Master will decide if you can do that. As most spells need materials, and again, to some extent it's assumed that if you're going on a dungeon, you secrete those materials about yourself. Or you mix up the potions in your little laboratory before you set off. There's a lot of work involved. You can't just find a scroll and put it in your bag and say, oh, I know that spell. No, you don't. It takes work. It takes the right character's job. You have to be a cleric to use clerical spells. You have to be a magic user to use magic user spells, and so on. You have to have the materials. You have to have the level. You have to have the knowledge. You have to have done the training. You need to do the preparation. At first, most people wanted to be magic users. We didn't call them wizards. Most people wanted to be magic users because it felt like that could be the sort of solution to all problems. Door's locked. I've opened it. Magic spell. Kaboom. But that was never the case. But it became easier, I think, certainly in my experience, and I can only speak from my experience, it became easier for dungeon masters to allow things to slip because magic was complicated. There were, there are modules where it actually says to the dungeon master at the start, make sure they've got a sleeping potion, because they're going to need it. Today, I would never do that. If you've not got a sleeping potion, tough luck. You know, maybe you should have thought of that before you set off. The spells will often say, when you read them, what the material component is. So it might say for a clerical spell, the material component for this spell is the cleric's symbol of power, or whatever, around his neck or his sigil, whatever he's got, something that identifies him. That's what he channels the power through. To me, in my mind, that's not how life is. I have clerics who are academics. That's what a cleric is. If you're in the clerical profession, you can't go around casting spells. It means you do stuff with a pen and pencil. So my clerics choose, do they want to study languages? Do they might want to learn our language? Want to study Goblin? Do they want to study an arcane language? Do they want to study geography? In which case I will give them more maps of the world. Monks, healers, they're clerics. They can't cast spells. There's no healing spells in my world. Oh, my legs fell off. Have a drink of that. You will feel better. When I was at school, we had a school secretary at primary school, and if you had a bump, I've had a bump. Scratched my leg. I've got some magic ointment. You get this pink ointment out, and it smelled funny. Magic ointment. I rub that on. You can stop crying because it's magic, right? Everybody went, okay. It's magic ointment. I've had magic ointment. I'm right. Get the football out. I'm off. But if you got a proper bump, you know, if you like fell off the jungle gym, off the climbing bars, you got a big thing on your head. Where nowadays you go off to intensive care. She had the ultimate. It was beyond the ointment. This was the ultimate. She used to get out from her drawer in this little wooden box, and it had a cloth over it, and inside was a wooden egg. I'm not kidding, a wooden egg. She said, rub my magic egg. And so sit there, big lump on your head, rubbing the magic egg, and you got better. You got better. So I don't know what that's all about, but it happened round about this 1960s, so it's relevant. It's how we used to live. So in my world, magic users are magic users. They go to magical college, and they don't just pop up. You can't choose to be a magic user. If you want to be a magic user in my world, you say, I'm generating my character. What do you want to be? A magic user. Right, throw a D6. What you got? 4. You can't be a magic user. You've got to get a 6. And then you've got to study for 15 years before you even get to be a wizard of one colour. And there's all the colours of the rainbow, and everyone's different. It's very cool. I'll do something on that later on. But point being, you can only cast magic spells in my world if you are a magic user. And if you've not read with Terry Pratchett, I would recommend you do. But remember, you can always tell a wizard, because a wizard's staff has a knob on the end. So magic users are magic users. So fast forward to today. So I get my little app that we're using. And then I've got my character sheet, and I'm a thief. I'm a halfling thief. So I've got down the bottom, cantrips. And I get 2 little bottles with D10 in them. What are them? Healing potions. Where did they come from? I never found them. Just no, you start with them. I'm not a fan. I'm not. But the game's the game. It's just, I'll have to rephrase that. It's not that I'm not a fan. I'm not used to it. I'm not used to halfling thieves having magical items. I've got 5. That would never have happened. You might have found some magic items, but you would never have just been given them before you started. and everybody's got 5 cars with magical slippers and bows and arrows and stuff on. That would be, in my world, the realm of a magic user. And there would be a reason why he's got them. Or the party might find them as reward. So there are the big differences now between my wizard in the early 70s, throwing the D6 to play in a battle, to the way we used magic, to the way that the early complex dungeons used it. Are you level 1? You can do that. And you've got to memorise it. And you need the materials to put together to do it. And you need to show me somewhere where you've got that from. You can't make something up. And you can't go on an app. That's the other thing you see now. Say, but people sit up a corner. The whole game. The game is happening over here. Things are happening. All the time they're going like that. What are you doing? I'm finding out what this spell does. Well, yeah, we're under attack. Can you not give us, it's like some wizard sat on the end of a wagon like with a big tome. I'll be with you in a minute. Is it relevant, this spell? Does it kill spiders? No, I want to see if I can put my magic boots on quicker. Well, stop it. Get a sword out and bash this. It's trying to eat me. Yeah, that's probably all a bit weird tonight. But I think wizards are weird. I've never ever been a wizard. There you go. 48 years as a role player, and I have never, ever, ever played a magic user. I don't like them. Clerics have been, and everything else, but I don't like them. Yeah, I don't know what the word is for someone who's anti-magic. There must be a word for it. I'm grateful for it when it saves my skin. But it's a funny old game, isn't it? So, anyway, chew on that, and I'll, if I've not driven you off with inane babbling, I'll see you later. Ta-da!